Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday night live stream for studentloanjustice.org. If you have any questions or comments, you're seeing us on Twitter or Facebook, by all means, throw them out. We are Student Loan Justice. We are the first, the oldest, the largest, and in the important ways, the only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan borrowers. We've been around for 17 and a half years now. We've done a lot of stuff. I'm going to save my breath. Google us if you have any doubts. There's a lot going on right now, guys. Let me, a couple of quick announcements. Vote for Lisa. I need to change this graphic. Unfortunately, our own Lisa Ansell, who was good enough to get a nice news piece done for us at the University of Southern California a few weeks ago. I forgot to post it for quite some time. She is in a contest called it's a fabulous over 40 contest. It's a glamour thing. Originally her and Christine were in it. Unfortunately, Christine just barely got nipped out of the top 5, unfortunately. So good on you, Christine, for even trying. You know, I give both these women a lot of credit for stepping up. They're both fighting for student loan justice, by the way, as a part of their portfolio or whatever you want to call it. So Lisa made it to the next round, so please just vote for her. Be a very good thing. You know, I should also say, if you can donate at this time, it would be very helpful. We're trying to raise all the money we need through the end of the year, so that's like about $3,500 or something like that. It would be very helpful. We can fight and win this battle for student loan justice on extraordinarily little amount of money, but we literally cannot do it. Our lights will not remain on, and that's more real than you know, unless we can raise the relative pittance to make that happen. So please help if you can. So here's what's going on, guys. The Biden loan cancellation has turned out to be as crappy as we predicted, if not worse. You know, we said for many months, even years really, that any cancellation that we can expect from Joe Biden, as long as the constitutional leverage of bankruptcy remains gone, will be crap. It will amount to almost nothing for almost everyone and absolutely nothing for many, if not most. And this past week, we saw in what will be, this thing is going to be a soap opera, guys. It's going to be a long, drawn out, legal twist and turn bunch of bullshit. It's going to be a huge distraction. And it was never going to be any good in the first place. So, guys, what I'm here to tell you tonight is, please, we cannot afford for you to be distracted. The song, that song I just played, it's actually 2 songs, believe it or not. It's Waiting on the World to Change by John Mayer, but at the same time, it's also Stuck in a Moment by U2, believe it or not. It's literally the same song. So both of those songs are appropriate. You can't let yourself get stuck in a moment waiting for this problem to solve itself. It will not. That will never happen. We've been doing this for nearly 18 years, guys. And let me tell you, when you sit back and relax and wait and watch and worry and wonder and wring your hands, nothing good happens, ever. On the other hand, when we actually fight for ourselves, and when I say we, I mean me and I mean you, good things happen. You know, in the past 2 years, 2 years ago, let's put it this way, 2.5 years ago, we were nowhere. I mean, we were in Iowa, so I guess that's somewhere, maybe not. It's the next best thing to nowhere. Actually, where I am now is more nowhere than middle of Iowa, but we were in Iowa schlepping through the frozen cornfields, practically begging people like Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and all these other candidates, John, I can't remember his name anymore. The very first guy who ran, a candidate from Maryland. Anyways, all these candidates we were getting eyeball to eyeball with, practically begging to return bankruptcy to student loans. Well, around 2.5 years ago, we as a group collectively got off our butts and we started that petition calling for the president to cancel loans by executive order. Well, lo and behold, here I am talking to you tonight. And not only do we, although it sucks, at least have a sitting president who actually announced a student loan cancellation by executive order. Good on you, good on us. We have two great bills to fight for. And for those of you who are new to the group, let me just say, the cancellation thing we saw from Biden is a distraction. It's a good feather in our cap that we actually got that done with a ton of help. I mean, it wouldn't have been, I don't want to give you the whole history, but it was Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer picked up the concept of canceling loans by executive order, something that we introduced into the public conversation with our petition, which is trending right now, by the way, which is at nearly 1.2 million signatures now. So we're thrilled that we now can say that the president has actually announced that he will cancel loans by executive order. But guys, that's meaningless. And I can tell you why. If you're new to the group, I'll tell you why. If you're not new to the group, you already know why. We've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy back, guys. It's only with the leverage of bankruptcy back on our side that anything, whatever you want to see happen for your loans, maybe you want your loans canceled, totally. I'm sure everybody does. Maybe you want some kind of a middling break, like a cancellation of interest or something. Maybe you frankly absolutely need to file for bankruptcy or anywhere in between. Whatever you want to see happen with your loans, none of that will happen until and unless we get the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy returned. So folks, you can't sit back, you can't wait and worry. We have until the end of the year, we have until December 31st to get our bills passed, S2598 and HR 9110. So, and let me just say, we've been doing this for many years, guys. We've seen all the tricks and the traps, and everything that's going on right now is a setup for a massive trick. The trick is to foist a fake loan cancellation on the people as a cheap substitute for bankruptcy. Bankruptcy, and nobody should have to file for bankruptcy. I know nobody wants to. Very few people, maybe nobody, should even have to file when we get the right returned, but only when we get that right returned can we expect anything more than this lame ass 10,000, 20,000 thing that'll get challenged in court. And if you hadn't noticed, the Biden administration purposely set that whole thing up based on some weird law called the HEROES Act, not the Higher Education Act, which is what we pointed to from the get-go as the authority, the legal authority that the president needs to cancel loans. Actually, the Secretary of Education, but no, they didn't point to the HEA. They pointed to the HEROES Act, which is a 2003 post-September 11th thing, emergency powers. The Biden administration never wanted to cancel loans, and they still don't want to cancel loans. The Department of Education, similarly, never wanted or had any intentions of canceling loans. They will only cancel student loans when we have some actual power on our side. And the actual power that we have is, fortunately or unfortunately, the constitutionally enshrined, for the second time, leverage that bankruptcy rights give us. Bankruptcy rights exist for every type of loan but student loans. They've been uniquely stripped from student loans. We need the same power that every other borrower for every other type of loan in this country has. And only then are we going to see anything meaningful. So we are right now on the precipice of a massive success when we get our bills passed before the end of the year. Now, come the end of the year, if our bills don't pass, and this is the other side of that coin, we also stand on the precipice of being fed to the wolves on January 1st. If we don't have our bankruptcy rights back and they turn these loans back on, there are any number of drooling collection, scum-sucking, bottom-feeding rat bastards who haven't been paid in quite some time, and they are sharpening their knives, ladies and gentlemen. And believe me when I tell you, I have supreme confidence that if that happens, we are capital F effed. I'm going to try and keep it PG-13 tonight if I can. It is Sunday. So there's a lot at stake, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you're new to the group and you have any doubts, I know we don't give the impression of being a big, important group, but indeed we are. And we don't know much about any other issues. We frankly don't even care about politics. We're a fiercely nonpartisan group, so you know. If you're Republican and Democrat, whatever you are, libertarian, green, communist, anarchist, whatever you may be, you're very welcome on this group. We have only one goal, and that is to solve the student loan problem. We've seen all the tricks and traps over many years, and what we are walking into right now could be another amalgamation of the same trick that we've had played on us multiple times in the past 18 years. We don't want that, guys. It's going to get ugly. People will die. People are already dying, by the way. And don't get me started on that. There was a horrible tragedy like 3 weeks or a month ago, and I won't even talk about it, but it was just too terrible for words. It was just the most tragic thing you can imagine. And student loans played a major, if not the major, contributing factor into that whole thing. So, and I think most of you know what that is. Anyways, I'm looking for your comments now, guys. The most important thing I have for you, the most important thing that you can do to help to solve your student loan problem, and we need you to. The one thing we're missing is you, by the way. When everybody waits and watches and worries, nothing good happens. Only when you get off your ass will anything good happen. And that's always been true, and it is extremely true right now here tonight as I'm talking to you. The one thing that you can do, the minimum, actually, you can do many things. The minimum thing that you can do, the most efficient, most effective use of your time is doing the daily actions, our student loan justice daily actions. We put a lot of thought into these actions. We are in close contact with Congress and other people in Washington, D.C., and so forth. And we are very strategic and pretty wise about these daily actions. So at a minimum, you would be, if you want to actually solve the student loan problem, and you've had enough, as most of the people on this group have had enough. We don't have to take this shit, by the way. The founding fathers are on our side. If you've had enough and you want to get this problem solved, our window closes at the end of the year. So you will, at a minimum, do those daily actions right there. Every day. Like religiously, like make it a little job or something. That's the minimum that you will do if you want to help us. And to all of you out there who are doing the daily actions, you know I salute you. And, look how far we've gotten. We are right on the cusp. And we're coming down the final stretch, guys. And quite frankly, I said we have till the end of the year, and technically that is true. But honestly, we have until, I think, December 23rd. I need to check this. Congress goes on holiday recess, Christmas recess, or whatever you want to call it. I believe either on December 19th or 23rd. I just can't remember. So it's before the 30th. It's a full week, if not 10 days, before the end of the year. So that's like 5 weeks, guys. We have like no time at all. So if ever you were going to actually fight, this very good and just fight, it would start with you doing those daily actions every day. I would say do far more than that. And, if people out there have any questions or comments, if anybody out there has any ideas, any cool things that they've tried that seem to work, throw them out. Good ideas are very welcome on this group. We don't have, we know what has to happen, but how we get there is another thing entirely. Everybody's got their own talents, skills, networks, secret uncles who know a governor, secret connections, your second cousin who married a senator or something. Everybody has special things that they can do. And we love hearing about them, by the way. And we love those unexpected wins that we get. And we do get them quite frequently, actually. But this is it, guys. This is go time. If we don't get done what we need to get done by the end of the year, we are absolutely screwed. So let me just dial in your comments now, like I said I was going to do about 5 minutes ago. I hope everybody had a good weekend, by the way. This coming week is, again, going to be by far and away the most important action week in the 17 and a half, actually closer to 18-year history of this group. And I hope you're staying warm. I'm up here in Wisconsin, if you can't tell. Northern Wisconsin, near the Canadian border, and it is freaking getting cold. It will not get above freezing for the next, as far as I can see the weather forecast. So here we are. Okay, good. Wow, we've got a lot of comments here tonight. Hey, Rob, how are you? Rob Miller's with us tonight. Howdy, he says, S2598 and HR 9110. Exactly, Rob. If you forget, if you can please remember those two bills, it's all comes down to these bills, guys. S2598, HR 9110. Here's a little political wrinkle, guys. As I said, we hate politics. We kind of hate both parties, frankly, in different ways, but we are politically very aware. And here's the political reality, guys. The Democrats have up to this point essentially betrayed us. The Democrats promised in their DNC platform to return bankruptcy to student loans. The Democrats hold House, Senate, and presidency right now. That may probably, who knows, but it's looking like that will not be the case on January 1st. And our bills expire on January 1st. So we would have thought that the Democrats would have done what they promised to do in the DNC platform before the election and returned bankruptcy to student loans. They didn't. And this Biden loan cancellation is looking like just a stinking wreck that probably may not even happen at all. And even if it does happen, it's going to be just lame. It's going to be just drawn out for political purposes. The thing sucked from the get-go. But the Democrats have betrayed us big time. And again, let me say one more time. I don't even care about that cancellation nonsense. It is a distraction. The important thing, whether you would ever or never file, doesn't matter, is bankruptcy. It just is, guys. Please believe me now, and you'll come to understand it later if you don't understand it. But go to our Medium group, by the way. If you're not sure why bankruptcy is so important, please go to our Medium thing and read pretty much any one of our articles. We published a brand new article, by the way, the other day. The vast majority of the student loan portfolio is profit. It's not unpaid principal, it's profit. So anyone saying that canceling student loans is a cost to the taxpayer, they're completely full of nonsense and Washington, D.C. student loan swamp lies. But I digress. Hey, Rob Miller says, go Lisa and Christine. Hey, Jackie Abrams with us tonight. Jackie, the Twitter Terminator. I am just so in awe of you, Jackie. Hi, Alan. I hope new people are joining us. I'm recruiting. Yeah, that's a good point, Jackie. We've gotten like 50 new members on our Facebook group in the past couple days. We picked up like a couple thousand, I think, signatures on our petition just over the past couple days also. So we're trending for some reason. I think people are really pissed about the loan cancellation thing going belly up. But guys, I'm here to tell you, the loan cancellation thing sucked in the first place. It was always a distraction, and it still is. We got to get the constitutional right of bankruptcy returned in order for anything good to happen. Until we get that basic power back, we're going to be begging whatever party's in power forever. And we will not get anything meaningful anyways, until we get the constitutionally enshrined for the third time right of bankruptcy back. Hey, Rob Miller says, if roughly 100 folks donate each month, let's all do $35. Thank you, Rob. I don't want to talk about, I suck at fundraising. I hate doing it. It's a distraction in my view. But you're right, Rob. It doesn't take much. $3,500 will keep us going for 2 months nearly. And anyways, hey, Terry Dodds with us tonight. Hey, what's up, Terry? Terry Dodd says, no more distractions. Student loan justice, no more distractions. Student loan justice warriors, Terry says. We got to do whatever it takes to get these bills passed before the end of the year. They will get canceled eventually, but I don't see anyone paying these loans back come New Year's Day, January 1st. You said a lot there, Terry, and I agree with every single point that you just made down the line. And on that last point, Terry, let me just say, even before this pandemic, most federal student loan borrowers, they weren't paying. In fact, 58% of all borrowers were not paying on their loans before COVID. That's like nearly 2/3. And another 30%, they were paying, but their loan balances were going up, not down, up. So that's 85% of all borrowers were underwater. They were never going to be able to pay their student loans, even before the pandemic. So what is that? Come on now. That's a failed lending system. That's, in my humble opinion, nobody should ever pay another dime back on their federal student loans. The lending system is failed. And by the way, we, the borrowers, we didn't wreck this lending system. We paid. Many people have paid through the nose. We have people in our group who have paid $100,000 back on a $26,000 loan, and they still owe $130,000. So no. We didn't wreck this lending system. The taxpayers have made a fortune on this lending scam, on this unconstitutional lending scam. This lending system, it tried to wreck us. It tried to take us out. But we're better than that, guys. We are the people, and we will not put up with this nonsense. The citizens, we've had our good faith used against us by the most bad-faithed lending scam in the history of our country. This lending system has failed. It's toast. In my opinion, it's a dead man walking. In my humble opinion, if you ever pay another dollar back on your federal student loans, that's not only unwise, because the loans will get canceled eventually, and nobody else is going to pay, almost nobody, come January 1st. Terry's exactly right on that. My best guess is come January 1st, not even a quarter of the people will pay. And within about 3 or 4 months, not even 15 or 20% of the people are going to pay. So the lending system is toast, guys. So if you ever pay another dollar on your federal student loans, in my humble opinion, that's not only unwise, it's unpatriotic. Don't feed the beast. And I'm sorry to have to say that. I'm sorry to have to say that I've lost complete faith in an agency of the federal government. But the Department of Education, ladies and gentlemen, they tried to wreck us. They love this lending scam, and they're fighting tooth and nail to keep it going. And a lot of people in Washington, D.C. are fighting tooth and nail to keep it going. And I'm just like, what? In a sane world, in a normal world, regular people would come together, take one look at this thing, including regular people, normal people in Washington, D.C., and say, yep, this one's done, ladies and gentlemen. This one's gone. This one's done. Even compared to every other failed lending system in the country, subprime home mortgages, S&L loans, you name it, student loans are way more failed. In a normal world where there weren't people out to get us in Washington, D.C., in and around Washington, D.C., I would include Wall Street in that, and I would include the guarantee agencies, which are all over the state, all over the United States, I should say. But for the bad politics, they would have said, yep, this one's done. Suspend the lending program. Don't make any new loans. cancel the existing loans, return bankruptcy to the loans that can't be canceled, and there are a few. There are quite a few, actually. And start over again, because this one is done. This one is finished. There's no saving it. And really, why would you want to save it? This thing, even in the words of a former Department of Education secretary, this lending system is Byzantine and broken. It should be thrown on the scrap heap of failed US policy experiments. It's time to move on. Call it a reset, call it whatever you want. Call it stimulus, point to the PPP loan program, do whatever you want. But this lending system is finished. And there's nothing that me or Terry or Rob Mueller or anyone else can do or say to make that not true. The numbers don't lie, they speak for themselves. But the good news for the government is, as I said, that Medium article that we published a couple days ago, the vast majority of that portfolio is profit. They made their money back by and large. They could cancel every penny of certainly federally owned student loans tomorrow, and the taxpayer would be breaking about even. So don't trip, guys. We got this. And don't let your good faith be used against you. That hurts not only you personally, it hurts everybody else. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just kind of feel bad because, I know I borrowed $25,000 and I know, I've repaid way more than that, but my balance is $150,000. And those are not fake numbers, by the way. But I just kind of feel bad, like a Welch, like welching on my debt or something. No. Get that out of your mind, guys. This is not a bad borrower problem. This is a bad lending system. We don't have to take this nonsense. The founding fathers are looking down on us and they're saying, how could our people be so weak? How could they let themselves be conquered and enslaved by this ridiculous, tyrannical lending scam? The founding fathers are wondering why we haven't burned our loan papers, gone to Boston Harbor, and thrown the ashes in the harbor. We do not have to put up with this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. We're better than that. But as with everything in this country, it would seem, the bad guys are not going to give up even a shred of power unless they're forced into it, guys. So, and there's a lot riding on this battle, guys. If they can do to other loans what they've done to student loans, they're going to do it. They're going to do it to medical debt. They're going to do it to credit card debt. They're going to do it to every little bit of consumer debt that doesn't go out to billionaires, probably, that they possibly can, because this is the way that works. If we let them. We cannot let them, guys. This is a fight far bigger than you and me. We've got to fight. And we've got to fight as hard as we've ever fought. You have got to fight harder than you've ever fought so that we can get this done by December 31st. Because after December 31st, we get knocked back down the mountain, back to ground zero. Everything that we've gained in the past 2.5 years goes away. And who knows what the next Congress is going to look like. Hey, Rob Miller says, what other solution is there? None. Neutralize this plague. That's right. Cut out this cancer. Good on Biden for inviting bankruptcy rights with a small, I'm so sorry, look what I helped create thing. And that's a great point, Rob. Joe Biden carries a lot of baggage on this. I see this as a great opportunity for Joe Biden to be honest and say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, when I was a senator in 1976, I was kind of a key guy in getting this bankruptcy thing taken away. Kind of seemed like a good idea at the time. I was probably the key senator getting it taken away in 2005 from private loans. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you I was wrong. I was wrong for doing that. And I'm going to do everything within my power. And by the way, Joe Biden can order the Department of Education tomorrow to stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. It's not a perfect solution, but he can do it. And it's a nice workaround while we're waiting for our legislation to pass. He could do that tomorrow. And if Joe Biden wants to have any prayer in 2024, he's got to do something that is trustworthy and believable. We haven't seen anything from Biden that's been trustworthy and believable up to this point, in my humble opinion. maybe you disagree, but this is a real test. This is a real character test for Joe Biden. So I want to say we'll see, but I don't want to say we'll see, because we'll see means let's sit back and eat some popcorn and see what happens. Let's wait and watch and worry and wonder, and then we'll see what happens. No, guys, no. Get that thought out of your mind. We need you fighting. This is a working, fighting group, and I'm here to tell you what you do matters. It only takes one person to make that one phone call, have that one conversation, do that one interview, get that one news station to report on our bills. Only takes one person to push the domino that causes a cascade. And let me tell you guys, this is a house of cards that is ready to fall. It only takes, this like picture, you guys know Jenga, like picture Jenga where like almost every piece has been taken. It's like the whole thing is going to crash at any moment. It only takes one person to do that one perfect thing that finally lifts this weight off of our backs, that finally cuts this cancer out of the country. And it could be you. I swear to you, it could be you. You have no idea how important you are. You have no idea how important you could be. But it all comes down to you not waiting, not watching and worrying, but getting on the phone, doing our daily actions, number one. That's like the minimum, whatever else that you can think of. Rob Miller says, I'd love to sit down with Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, our governor, Arkansas governor. He said, we knew what we were getting into, said Governor Hutchinson. And he's handing and that's right. Sarah Huckabee Sanders won that governor's race, didn't she? I believe she did. Tom Cotton ought to be, all those people that you just mentioned ought to be, maybe with the exception of Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Tom Cotton and Asa Hutchinson clearly should be ashamed of themselves. These people are fighting student loan cancellation when their states, Arkansas is one of the 10 worst states in the nation in terms of the average student loan debt per borrower in Arkansas versus the average wages. There's 10 states that are the worst, and Arkansas is on that list. It's the entire South, by the way. It's from Florida to Missouri, that diagonal, from Texas all the way up to Virginia, that diagonal, and everything in between. It's one solid block. The South is being wrecked by these loans, and any governor of any southern state who opposes bankruptcy, much less cancellation, they're fighting against their own people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. This is a state sovereignty issue, guys. Like, this is federal debt. Like, look at Texas, where that lawsuit came from, by the way. The people of Texas owe more, way more, $20 billion more than the entire state budget in federal student loan debt, mostly federal student loan debt. People of Texas are being wrecked. People of Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas, Virginia, West Virginia, Mississippi is the worst. Louisiana, Texas, all the southern states, they're being absolutely wrecked. And here we have the governors of most of those states publicly opposing student loan cancellation. We haven't heard many governors say anything about bankruptcy. By the way, our bankruptcy is the rational middle ground. We'll get cancellation eventually, but none of that's going to happen until we get bankruptcy back first. And by the way, I'm thrilled to report that we've had 4 or 5 conservatives, conservatives, write op-eds in the past 2 to 3 months, all calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. So, people want to make this a political issue, red versus blue. It's not, guys. Over half of student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. So they're conservative, by and large conservatives. This really is not a partisan problem. And lo and behold, our bill, certainly in the Senate, we've got 2 Republican Senate co-sponsors on that bill, John Cornyn, Josh Hawley, who's a MAGA guy. You know, I could point you to quotes from Donald Trump in 2016 saying, why is the federal government making a profit on student loans? That makes no sense. That was 2016. That was a long time ago. That was 8 now. But, you know, Donald Trump knew at one point, what a scam this thing is. And make no mistake, it's a big government, red state wrecking, veteran wrecking, senior wrecking thing. Like in Arizona, Doug Ducey or anybody in Arizona, why on earth are they doing anything but fighting for the borrowers? Rather, why would anybody in Arizona fight for this lending scam? We got this, ladies and gentlemen. We got this. But as I said, we've got to fight. We've got to fight. When we show up and fight, we absolutely will win. You know, if even 10% of the people in our group were doing our daily actions, this thing would be done by maybe even by Thanksgiving. If 100,000+ people a day were retweeting our stuff and making phone calls to the people in Washington, D.C. that we target, yeah, think about it. Think about it. So the only question that matters tonight, and I'm putting this to all of you, each of you, is, are you going to fight? Are you sitting there? Are you going to fight with us? Because everything depends on it. If you don't, we will lose. And we'll be here January 1st, and we will be like turkeys at the Thanksgiving dinner. If you do, and as I said, if even 10%, heck, I think if even 1% of the people in our group actually fought, we'd be done easily by the end of the year. Easily. But that hasn't happened up to this point. On any given day, I only see a couple hundred, maybe a few thousand people fighting. That's like point whatever percent. It's not enough. It is not enough. So again, the question to you tonight, and this is what I'm going to leave you with tonight, guys. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to all your comments and questions, but I'm just going to leave you with this question. Are you going to help us fight? This is your problem. These are your loans. Are you finally going to help us fight if you haven't been? And to everybody out there who is fighting, you know I salute you. We're the pioneers. We're the veterans. We can't stop, and I don't think we will stop. I think all the people on this group are not going to stop. And, you know, bless you all. But the question out there is, everybody else, are you going to help us fight? So only you can answer that question. I hope you come up with the right answer. And I hope that all of you are getting ready for this coming week. It's the biggest week in our history. So I'll be back tomorrow night. Stay tuned, guys. Things are happening very quickly. And the only good things that are happening because you're making them happen, starting with our daily actions. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless.